So first off, we have to tip our hat to you. We like to do this. We've been talking truck parking. Ohio recently committed to the truck parking situation. So hats off to you and everyone there in Pennsylvania for taking action on this truck parking issue. So we'll start by thanking you for that, and also by thanking you for being on the show. We do appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
And before we talk truck parking, actually, I came across a recent social media video preparing for this talk and found out you have a CDL. Is that right?
I do. I have a B with an air brake, which proves to the holders of an A that I cannot back up the trailer.
That is fair. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I got my CDL years ago when I was on a paving crew, and the foreman needed somebody to drive a triaxle, and I raised my hand and went and got it, and I've kept it ever since.
that's great. That's great. And more recently, you've been the state transportation secretary for I guess a couple years now.
This is year
Um,
three.
year three. Okay, there we go. With regard to truck parking, do you remember when maybe you first became aware of the truck parking crisis there in your state and obviously elsewhere as well?
Well, when I was in the House of Representatives in Pennsylvania before I became secretary, and was worked in the world of transportation for a long time, and was aware of the need for additional truck parking. Uh, you don't need to be anything more than just observant. If you travel the interstate system in Pennsylvania and see trucks on ramps and on shoulders, and parking in unsafe spots. And what really hit home for me is I saw along Interstate 81 in northeastern Pennsylvania near Scranton, trucks populating a vacant lot because the nearby truck stop was over capacity, and they just sort of defaulted into a lot that was near where they were off the interstate. Probably could walk to the truck stop from where the this vacant lot was, and it got me thinking that, there's got to be PennDOT properties across the state that we could expand to include a truck parking opportunity that's safe and convenient. And so the PennDOT team, as well as the Turnpike team, was tasked with find me locations that make sense for truck parking. And I think we'll probably get into sort of the nuances and the types of truck parking part of this conversation. But there were some easy opportunities and easy wins. And those are the ones we're unveiling right now that really we can get into the universe of truck parking options in a very short order.
You
Yeah.
mentioned, safe options. This really isn't just a convenience issue, but a safety issue above all else. Have you spoken with or heard from any truck drivers about their experiences?
I have, and as well as the Pennsylvania Motor Truck Association, I know there's independent operators out there as there are those that drive for other companies. But yes, I've spoken to truck drivers. PennDOT had done a study related to truck parking a few years ago, and it highlighted the needs. And you are 100% right. It is about safety first. Safety for truckers and safety for the motoring public, to make sure that they have a safe and convenient place, the truckers do, to comply with their hours of service, but at the same time, feel like they are able to take a break in a safe spot. So it really was all about safety first.
I like that you mentioned earlier that this was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you said this was kind of an easy first step, and that you recognize the problem, obviously from discussions with other folks, a couple few years ago. You've moved pretty quickly on this in terms of the way government works, at least in terms of speed, right? Talk about those early conversations, if you would, there at PennDOT and with other folks that you talked with, um, kind of trying to get an idea of, again, what the problem is and what solutions look like.
So, I mean, the problem is obvious. As I said, you can see trucks, especially along the interstates and the shoulders and the ramps, and the rest stations, rest areas that we have are overpopulated. And then, you drive down the road and you see a gated way station. And the trucks, populate the decel and the XL ramps to the gated way station. And again, one of the early wins for us, let's remove the gates. We have that facility already. I know that, the making sure that the weight enforcement and safety enforcement can be done. But, if that's, a couple days a month or even 4 or 5 days a month, the other days are days when we can make that facility available for truck parking right on the interstate system. So one of the early wins for us was remove the gates for the way stations across the state. And that was the first press conference we did along I-83 near York, where we provide for truck parking at an existing way station. Just take the gate down, put the signs up, and away we go. And voila, 30 spots. It costs us, $150 per sign for a handful of signs.
Because it's already there.
It's
It's just
there.
sitting there. Yeah.
It's sitting there. It had gates, but it doesn't have gates anymore. And the others like that across the estate on the interstate network, the gates are going to come down, signs are going to go up, and trucks are going to park.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to talk about the plan recently announced will add more than 1,200 truck parking spaces across 133 locations by the end of 2026. Can you walk us through the plans and where these spaces will be going?
Sure. So there's sort of buckets of different truck parking facilities. One would be what I just mentioned, that is the way stations, remove the gates. Another would be on the shoulders of on-ramps, where right now it's prohibited. So we're going to allow for truck parking on on-ramps to interstates and interstate lookalikes that are safe with safety distance and right-of-way presence, so that we could have truck parking safely on on-ramps. And then the one that's sort of the wild card is PennDOT property that is adjacent to an exit ramp or near a truck stop that can be used for truck parking that is currently not done so. And so the one that got my attention that set really this in motion was Route 315 in Luzerne County near 81, I-81. The trucks were populating this very ordinary PennDOT property, and they had turned it into truck parking just because they had nowhere else to go. And we're going to memorialize that with the signage and some receptacles for trash and some, facilities, so that the truckers have the ability to, to have a more enjoyable experience during their downtime. What those folks do. Those men and women driving those trucks have a really tough job. And admittedly, was never an over the road driver, but I know enough that they deserve the respect of the Commonwealth and PennDOT to have safe spots, and the Turnpike's doing the same thing. So the category is really to get us to 1,200 spots on 133 locations, on ramps, way stations, and then PennDOT properties that make sense near the ramps and such for the interstate network.
And I love that you mentioned having facilities there where they are people, they need to use the restroom and stretch their legs and everything. We hear time and time again about truck parking and people adding spaces, but not thinking about that aspect of it. And clearly you all have thought about that, maybe through discussions with people. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out that we need to have bathrooms and garbage cans. And so, with the way stations and the PennDOT properties, that it makes sense to do that for every single on ramp. I'm not sure we could have the facilities there. Garbage cans will, yes, but the facilities, because of the capacity for some dumb people to do stupid things when it comes to porta potties, it makes this harder. But we're going to take a stab at trying to be as aggressive as we can be to meet the needs of truckers, more than just allowing them a place to park the rig.
I said off the top, essentially tipping our cap to you and all your colleagues there who have been working on this issue. I imagine and I know you've got a whole list of issues as the Secretary of Transportation for Pennsylvania that perhaps have more complex solutions, require more complicated kind of problem solving. This to me, and Ashley and I, we've been talking about this for years, which it feels like decades, but this is one of these issues to me that seems to be a pretty simple fix, right? And I imagine, again, in the context of all these other problems that you're looking at and trying to solve on a daily basis, I don't want to say that this one was easier because I know it took time and it took some effort, but was it one of these things where the pieces just kind of fell into place as you went along the planning process? Were there any hiccups or challenges along the way?
No, I mean, some of the, once we get past the sort of the low fruit on the tree, there is PennDOT property that will need to, have some trees cut, and some, fill material, some aggregate or some mill material, which is recycled asphalt, to make the lot, more, amenable to truck parking. So after we get done with these 1,200 spots and 133 locations, there are other opportunities for additional truck parking, and we're going to pursue them, but require some more, guide rail removal, some driveway type, access points to these properties. So the 133 locations, 1,200 spots is the first step. And so during the next 12 months, while we're delivering those 1,200 spots, we'll embark on the what else can we do, because we have full knowledge that those 1,200 are a step in the right direction, but probably not enough. And we're going to be aggressive with continued effort to try and expand those opportunities.
Do you have any
How long?
early? Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Ashley.
you go ahead, Scott.
I was just going to say, do you have any? And again, I know we're still in the first phase of this, and you kind of alluded to maybe what the second phase might look like as you look at other opportunities to build truck parking and make it available. But do you have any early ideas as to what that might look like right now?
In terms of number of spots or locations?
Yes and yes.
Yeah, yes. So yes, we're identifying the properties that make sense. We're gonna look for gaps along the network that are not served well by these 133 locations. And so, there's no sense in identifying a spot, a quarter mile down the road from one that we're going to populate now with this first group. So, like everything else, it's not quite as simple as one might think, but the next steps will reflect the successes of this first effort, and then also recognize the need for a gap that may exist on I-80 in central Pennsylvania that doesn't get addressed by this first round. So, and then, there'll be some capital funds that we'll have to direct to do these improvements. I'm not, that doesn't concern me tons. We're not talking about, building an Empire State Building here. And so there's a way to get there. And, my governor wants to get stuff done. And that is getting stuff done for everybody. And that includes men and women who drive trucks.
Yeah, that's great.
I kind of want to go back to the beginning, because I know the hope is that other departments are listening and will hopefully take similar steps. Can you walk me through what the process was like, kind of from step one, where the decision was made, and then kind of to where we are today?
So it was my charge to the PennDOT district executives. We have 11 districts across the state, as most DOTs do. They divide the state up into regions. And so the districts were tasked with identifying candidate truck parking locations in the three categories that we talked about: on-ramps, way stations, and other PennDOT facilities that exist. There's a park and ride lot along 78 near the Jersey border that we were able to sever that to dedicate half of that existing park and ride lot to truck parking. Prior to this week, that didn't happen. And then, the facilities, the truck parking on the vacant PennDOT property across the state. So that was my charge to the counties, to the regions. They came back with a slew of candidate projects, and those are the ones that we're embarking on now. If there was two on-ramps on I-99, 2 miles apart, we would just pick one. And if that one is overpopulated, then we could always add the second one. So the 133 locations and 1,200 spots are a reflection of distilling down the candidate projects that we got from the districts. And, the early indications are that it's working. I mean, the I-83 way station that's now truck parking is populated with trucks. They were there last night. I'm certain they'll be there every night or even during the day. In fact, while we were doing the press event, the gates were still closed because we had, folks in there from the media, and trucks were trying to get in while we were doing the event. And I should also give a shout out to the Pennsylvania State Police. They were supportive and cooperative in this effort. They also recognize the challenge that is, driving a rig for a living. So they're partners in what we do, and I'm proud of the work that they did to get us to yes with so many of these locations.
Yeah, that's an endorsement there. You got people trying to get in before the gates even open. I mean,
Yeah,
that's perfect for the media sitting there to realize, hey, this is in high demand. The people are waiting already.
it was true. I was really, I shouldn't be surprised. I was,
Yeah,
but I guess the signs were out on the ramp, and but we didn't think it was safe to have trucks coming in while we had a slew of folks there with cameras and you know, the usual witnesses that want to see what's going on.
sure. To your point, Ashley, you had asked about kind of the planning stages of this, and we keep talking about the problem and the solution. Again, I don't want to say it's simple, but it is maybe not as complicated as some might have you believe. To that point, is there a lesson that you think other states could take from what you have done there in Pennsylvania with this issue?
Yeah, my suspicion is that folks are paying attention. You know, state DOTs talk to each other. They pay attention to what's going on. You know, AASHTO, which is the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, did a story on the truck parking. And you know, with the interconnected nature world that we live in now, there are no secrets. And so, uh, and you know, I know a lot of folks are on the path of tax credits and you know, cooperating with other entities that run truck stops, and that's all fine. And I know the you know, Secretary Duffy and the US DOT are down the path of trying to make grant funds available, and we'll pursue that, you know, when we think it's smart. But I wanted to act quickly, and you know, when I became secretary, shortly after I became secretary, we had the tragic tanker fire on I-95 in Philly, where a gentleman lost his life that morning. But we repaired and reopened I-95 in 12 days. And you know, that's sort of how we adopt that same, you know, we did it in Philly in 12 days. What else can we do fast? And so this is what we can do fast. We can deliver these 1,200 spots. And then, you know, with minimal taxpayer dollars being, you know, used here. I mean, we literally, it's $150 a sign. PennDOT has its own sign shop, as I suspect most DOTs do. And, you know, so the PennDOT folks are go make the sign, or PennDOT folks will install the signs, and our PennDOT folks will, you know, keep the trash cans emptied and do the maintenance necessary. And, you know, we're, you know, the folks that drive trucks are our partners in the world of transportation. That's and so partners deserve that kind of respect.
I also wanted to ask, PennDOT unveiled a new public truck parking option online through your app. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure, it's 511 PA, and that is where folks can go to learn more about what's happening with transport with our highway and bridge network. And truckers are familiar with 511 PA, and so these sites, as they're opened, they'll populate on 511 PA, and they'll and it's an opportunity for somebody traveling through the state to know where their options are. And you know and these are, you know, these are not it's not you know, Pilot or Petro or any of the other truck stops, and they're all great. These are other opportunities that you know, not quite as commercial as those would be. We don't have showers, of course, and the retail options, but they're good, safe spots, and we just don't have enough of them. So I'm proud of the effort to make these 1,200 available, and look forward to doing even more.
As you check this item off your list, or slowly check it off as the spaces open up here, any other trucking related issues on your radar there at PennDOT that you're thinking about or considering action on?
You know, CDLs, just making sure that we have enough CDL drivers is a thing. That's not just for PennDOT folks that, you know, drive a tandem or a triaxle and push snow, or do work on our highways. You know, we have a shortage of CDL drivers. I know it's not the world of trucking, but there's a shortage of school bus drivers that require a CDL. That's a thing in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure about other states. So, you know, we have to make sure that people understand that getting a CDL in your wallet or purse is a smart move for many, and that it could be a rewarding career. I mean, I personally really like to drive. It doesn't bother me whatsoever to drive 4 or 5 hours. I'm not going to compare myself to an over the road driver, but you know, it's there's a career there that can be really rewarding and can sustain a family, and so, you know, we're going to do what we can. But the CDL shortage is a thing for Pennsylvania, so that is on our list. And then, you know, making sure that we have a safe transportation network. You know, to try and make sure that we have roads and bridges that can meet the needs of the motoring public, and that includes passenger vehicles and trucks. We have challenges when it comes to some of our bridges that are old. We have bridges that are over 100 years old in some cases on some of our non-interstate routes that demand to be repaired and replaced, and we do that as speedy as we can. And so, to having a safe and efficient network is important. And the rideability of our roads and interstates is important to me. And to be bounced around in the cab of a truck going across I-80 is not fun. And so we're going to make sure that we have an I-80 from Jersey to Ohio that is a pleasurable ride, as pleasurable as we can make it.
Mr. Secretary, we know you're a busy man. You've been generous with your time. Before we let you go, obviously our listeners are primarily truck drivers. Any final thoughts for the men and women out there?
Yes, one, and it's an important one. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. It's really important, especially now. It's always been important, but with people ordering stuff online and expecting them to be delivered in a day or two or three, or manufacturers wanting just-in-time delivery of commodities and such, I thank all the men and women doing the work that they do behind the wheel of that truck. It's really important work. I consider it, it's foundational for the economy of Pennsylvania and really for the United States. And so, thank you.
Secretary Carroll, thank you so much
Yeah,
for your
thank
time.
you.
Really do appreciate it. Yeah, we'll keep in touch with you all as this project kind of unfolds over the next 12 months or so, and maybe we'll check back in with you.
Perfect. Love doing it. Thanks so much for the
All right,
opportunity.
and
Thank you.
thank you, and thanks, Alexis. I think you're on there as well, so appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, take care now.
Yeah.
See you, pal.